what we're talking about when we say anti-aging, quote unquote, what we're really talking about is a paradigm shift from treating or suppressing symptoms or chasing symptoms to prevention.
You're absolutely right. Up to this point, it's been prevention. But now we're at a point where we're looking at regression, where we're looking at being able to augment our stem cells. We're able to go in there and stimulate our body's repair processes. The new senolytic drugs actually get rid of old cells, zombie cells, some people call them. And when our cells get old, they kind of just, it's kind of like, they're in a nursing home. They just kind of sit around, they don't do their job, and they're lazy. And worse than that, they create some toxic proteins, which further stimulate aging. And so in animals, we're finding that the use of senolytic drug therapies can increase life expectancy alone, maximum life expectancy, not mean life expectancy, by 30%.
We have, numerous supplements and things that increase telomerase. And we had talked about this in the show some time ago, that we can actually measure DNA, and we are finding out which things affect it. And some of the most effective things for having the best telomerase length are some nutraceuticals, but hormones too. When the hormones are replenished, I know is a huge pillar, allowing people to not just go into a decline, but actually regenerate if they're starting to decline. We can intervene, get back to where we were as soon as we wake up and notice that our activity, how we go through our day, how sharp we are, isn't as great as we want it to be. In those moments that we wake up, there's so many tools to actually improve, I think, beyond our wildest dreams.
You're absolutely right. When I first started anti-aging medicine in 1991, there was only about 7 interventions, or when I say even interventions, about therapies, even drugs, that might have a beneficial effect for anti-aging. Most of it was exercise and diet, which is still very important. But we didn't have a lot of drugs. We didn't have a lot of interventions. Today, there's over 50, probably closer to 100, well-accepted interventions, drug therapies, other things that can have a direct benefit with regard to improving the function and normalizing or youth, or I don't want to say, I'm looking for the right word, but a drug that brings us more back to a youthful norm than simply treats a symptom. This is very exciting because all it takes is just one single breakthrough drug, and the whole paradigm changes. The whole thing of aging changes. Just like in 2005, Joey Heatherton was the first woman over 35 to ever get on the cover of Playboy.
Oh, wow.
Why is that important? It's important because women were not seen as sexy, youthful, vibrant. After the age of 35, they were dried up. Their hormones were gone. They were no longer childbearing. That was it. Game over. Sorry, ladies. You've done your thing. You've done your service. Now, go in the back room and knit. Okay. but in 2005, this wasn't long ago. This
no, that isn't.
Okay, she broke the mold. She got on the cover of Penthouse, and she looked great. I mean, she was like 52 and awesome. And now you have women who are, 50, 60, 70, 80. Sophia Loren. I have a lot of respect for her, and she's getting great results. And those results are available to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what is most astounding to me is people have the shortest term memories. I mean, we're like goldfish. I mean, think about it. When I grew up, and I'm not that old, ICUs, because I started in healthcare very early, the intensive care units were filled with people, some in their 40s, late 40s, but in their late 40s, 50s, 60s. You go into intensive care units today, it's rare to see anyone under the age of 70 unless it's trauma.
Very interesting.
There's been a real quantum shift in regard to what aging-related disease is. When I was a kid, someone died when they were 60-something. It was, well, they had a good long life, lucky guy, right? Made it to 60, right? Today, someone dies in their 60s, it's like, oh, what a tragedy. He was just such a young man. He was practically a kid,
Yeah, because he was.
Exactly. And if someone dies before the age of 85 today, it's like they died too soon. And it's true. It's true. They did die too soon. Someone, especially if they're healthy. If they're healthy and they're under the age of 80, it's like a tragedy. And that's going to continue to ratchet up if we can overcome the environmental assault on public health. But that's a different story altogether.
Oh, that's an important story. It's a base that all of this is teetering on.
Unfortunately true.
Unfortunately true. I wanted to talk about, someone sent me a blood test of a friend of theirs, a man in his late 50s who was suffering panic attacks, but didn't tell me a history, just said, could you look at this blood test? I look at this blood test and I said, this is a man who's depressed. He can't feel good. And I had an elevated CRP. I had a testosterone in the 198 range. I had a DHEA that was so low. So he was wide open to inflammatory diseases. He didn't have enough hormone to literally face life and to relate to life. And when I did find out about him, yes, he was having panic attacks. He wasn't feeling well. And I could see that directly just from a blood test.
Right.
Many of the people that we're talking about that do want to age in a better fashion are doing things. They're finding practitioners who can coach them in better lifestyle choices. Or I love Dave Asprey's idea of biohacking, that each of us as an individual can make changes in our lives and in what we do, what we eat, what supplements we use, and do N of one studies, one person in the study ourselves. And we can conduct these studies ourselves by looking for the outcomes. What kind of outcomes are we trying to get with this? Now,
as long as you can imply metabolic changes with laboratory or with physical functional testing, you can in fact do research on one person. This double-blinded, placebo-controlled, $2.5 billion cost for any new drug development. That's so much. How can I say it?
That's a huge waste of money.
And
First of all, the whole premise is wrong. Nobody has. I think we're going to have a clash of the titans here. The pharma ideal of a drug for everybody, and everybody takes the same strength. And then we're having more and more research being done on our genetics and trying to understand what SNPs predict what. And we're going to find that we're not genetically made to be taking these kinds of things. It's not going to have the desired outcome.